Hello and welcome to the next edition of Free Time Builds. It is still snow on the ground outside, and I can see it's clearing up, but we're going to do a leftover scrap wood challenge today and see if we can make a wooden sled, the old-fashioned one with the runners, the cross beams, and the slats this way. I'm challenging myself to use what I have and not cut into any of my new supply from the pallets I broke down, because I still have, let me show you, these tongue and groove pallets pieces here. I have had these for a long time, and these are the remnants of them. These are from the first couple of pallets I grabbed. They're great for making my signs, which I can show you those later. Those I made a bunch. I have one upstairs. I brought some to work, and people like them. So I'm like, well, I'm bringing all these home to take them. So we're gonna see if we can turn this into a winter sled. So let's get going. All right, the first thing we're gonna have to figure out is how long we want to make the runners. That's really going to determine a lot. So my thing is, these are the same size, so we'll take these to the miter saw, we'll cut them down. Obviously, cut the tongue and groove off. So after they're cut down, and I take this off here, and this will be to about right here. That leaves us with this area. We'll put an angle going left a little down like that. Then on the back, we'll just have it going up like that. Doesn't have to be perfect, just a rough drawing. A little sharper angle there. There you go. So that will be kind of what the runners will look like, as you can see. Here, downward, then back. It'll go this way, and we'll have two of these for everything to sit on. Alright, so here at the miter saw, we're simply going to cut these. We marked them. Alright, so like I said, we're going to clean up the tongue and groove off these pieces. So right here, as you can see, I'm sitting down. I'm going to have two pieces to hold the slats for the sled. I cut them at the width of the sled I want, which is 9 inches, and then I just cut a little groove so I'd have a lip sitting on top of the skis. And I made two of these so I could rest my slats on my sled. One front, one back, and they're both the exact same length. And I cut them down to probably about a ½ inch left of overhang, so the other pieces wouldn't sit too high up. You can adjust this depending on the thickness of your material. So for this part here, we're at the bandsaw again. We're going to be cutting down some more of the scrap wood into slats. This was nice, quick, and easy for me to use. I will get my speed square out in a moment to set my depth of the cuts and set my fence. If I did this again, I would probably take my table saw out, because the bandsaw is a good option, but the problem is it's such a thin blade, which is what it's supposed to have for making tight turns and cuts and everything, but for cutting nice even slats, I think the table saw is a much better option looking back at it. But here we go. Let's get cutting. For this part, we're going to work on the front piece. I simply measured and cut a board at 9 inches. Then I marked center, which would be 4.5. I used my speed square, as you can see in the shot there, and just drew some angles down. I aligned them. I went to my miter saw. I used my laser guide to line up the angles. I had to turn the board to kind of get lined up because they're not real set angles. I cut them. Then I took it to my sander and I rounded the squared edges. And right here I'm just doing some fine sanding, because every time I'm done sanding, I always find some little hair like pieces of wood on the edge. So I just take this little piece here. I actually have an extra oscillating multi-tool head. I keep it the same paper on. I find it's a nice little hand fine sander. And here we see it taking shape. It's at this point looking at it, I'm thinking that these slats, I don't know, they might be a little thick. I'm not sure. So here, experimenting with maybe using a sheet, and I just took a 5-gallon bucket right here. I use that to trace a curve, cut that with a jigsaw or bandsaw, see if that would be more aesthetic than having the strips. I may come and make one each way, so I have 2 different versions of it. I figure this way I can have the round in the front, which is very classic, which would be much easier. Plus I feel these strips are a little thick, but because they do have planer, I could always take them through a couple times and thin them down. But I'm gonna try this out. This is scrap I had too, so this isn't something I don't buy. This is something I was just sitting, taking space. So I'm gonna see if I can how this will look after I cut it and everything. See if it's a better option. So now we see we have our nice circular. So here's just a different approach to this I was looking at with one solid piece. And more of an area, so say you want to make this for a friend or a company or something, you could put a lot of lettering and logos there, because this can stand up vertical, obviously, because it's a sleigh piece. It's not functional sled. I mean, technically, I guess you could try to take it sliding if you wanted to, but you could have names, logos. You put Christmas tree here, all sorts of decals and everything with painting or staining or crickets or lasers or CNCs. You could go nuts, as opposed to just doing the strips we saw. So it's different variations. Some people might want the strips. This, I feel, especially with the round in front, gives a little more character, and you can definitely customize a heck of a lot more with it. Plus, you don't have to worry about spacing with all the strips, getting that even spacing. Yeah, so I think I will keep this. I have seen some where there's an inward curve at the end too. I think I'll leave mine straight. So now it's time for the glue up. I'm using some spare 2x4s to hold the sides, and I'm using my nice long leveling ruler for the back, so I know that the back points are even, and I'm going to use some Type-Bond. You can use Type-Bond 2. I'm using, like I said, this is an indoor display piece. Type-Bond 2 is also water resistant. It's great for interior, exterior, so if it's outside a little, that should be fine. So I'm just putting some on. I'll grab a brush and I'll spread it, and I'll apply the top part